This is Jess with Local Music Somewhere, and you're listening to rBeatz Radio.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to rBeatz. This is our segment on Local Music Somewhere, and today we have ANALEISE PEARL with us, who is a songwriter, musician, and ANALEISE, I'm so excited to have you today. You've got a new single out, you've got other things in the works, and I just want you to kind of tell us a little bit about yourself to get started here.
Hi, my name is ANALEISE PEARL. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been singing ever since I was like 8 years old. I started mostly in show choir from high school and musicals and everything like that, and that just really is what inspired me to start this journey on my musical journey. I started songwriting at a time in my life when it wasn't really the most ideal for me, when I was around like 18, 19. And ever since then, it's just kind of, it's pushed me to put myself more out there in a way that is creative and inspiring to myself, and surrounding myself with other musicians and people in my life. And this song, Yeah,
I was actually going to ask you about that as far as what music does for you. You know, I feel like the answer is a little bit different for everyone, but you know, for me, when I'm creating, I get this type of like spark or fire that's kind of like irreplaceable by any other hobby or anything. So, and you're kind of starting to go down that road with working with others. So like, what does it bring to you, you feel?
Oh, it brings so much inspiration working with other people. Like on this song, I've actually worked with another singer and songwriter, and he's my producer as well. His name is Maddrey, and he just took this song in a direction that like I never thought was even possible for me to go in. It was a different form of what my sound. I didn't know that I could go in the sort of sound that he had provided, but once we started writing the song, we just kept going with it, and it just flowed in such a way, and we're both so proud of it. And yeah, it was so inspiring, and being able to kind of unpack like a lot of my own, fears and anxieties and stuff like that within this song. It was so releasing in a way, and looking like basically saying to look on the silver lining of things when things aren't going your way. What can you find a silver lining in? And just trying to find that is so important, and that's what this song is.
Yeah, I noticed that we had a lot of great harmonies in there. It's kind of like a pop style with the harmonies going on, which is one of my favorite things ever when I'm listening to songs. And, you know, you talk about the positivity there, or finding strength in like a tough situation. You know, do you feel like there's been other musicians or people that you've looked up to that give you that type of influence or strength?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, John is definitely one of those people. Like, he's definitely, he's elevated my music career to a place where I didn't even think that was possible. There's also, like, so many other musicians in my life. Like, there's Jason Jett, who he's the owner actually of Grindhouse Studios here in Charlotte, and he makes fantastic music. Naya Sang is a fantastic singer and songwriter as well, and I just love a lot of indie artists as well. Like I'm trying to think, like there's mostly alternative artists as well in there. But I think for me, I think Evanescence is a big inspiration for me, like especially,
really?
And Amy Winehouse and Lady Gaga, and all of those big like powerhouse voice.
Yes, I was just gonna say, I can really see the thread between the three of those as like strong voices. There's definitely a draw there, especially, you know, I remember first hearing Amy Lee on the Evanescence stuff, and you're just like hearing this hard rock track, and then she's like piercing through, and like, especially with Lady Gaga, I mean, the like super strength there. So you're recording and you're gigging, okay? So let's talk about the differences in that whole situation. You know, obviously they're two completely different, you know, scenarios of performance. You know, how do you feel about, I know it's kind of fresh too, gigging and performing live. Tell me more about your experience with that.
Yeah, I've always felt comfortable with performing live. That's like the one thing I feel that I am the most comfortable at with anything. Like if you put me on a stage, I will make it work somehow. And I felt that way within show choir. I felt that way within musicals. And I feel that way now within just performing gigs and everything like that. It's definitely a different field for sure than what show choir was, but it's still rewarding nonetheless to be able to look out into a crowd of people and perform and sing the songs that you either love or are inspired by on like during those times.
Right. Yeah. I know connecting with the audience is like a totally different thing. And then when you're recording, there's nothing there. So it's like maybe imagining that audience, you know? So when you're writing and creating, I've asked a couple artists this because I'm very curious about it. When you're writing, do you kind of think about the listener as you're writing, or is that just not even on the table? You're just like, you know what, this is my expression and this is what I'm doing, or you know, who you're working with. How does that work for you? Do you think about that in any capacity there?
On some level, yes, but I think right now in my life, the most important music for me and the most important music that I write comes from my own experiences and what I am going through in that moment. And most importantly, what I want to listen to. At the end of the day, I want to put out music that I'm like, I could listen to this like by myself and I would still like love it. If I can't even like listen to my own music, then I'm like, what's the point? You know, like it's like I'm putting out music so that I can also not only listen to it, but that other people can listen to it and connect with it as well.
I think that's the best rule of thumb that we learn here as we talk to the different artists. Like when you're just going with the intention of, you know, your expression and your art, that's what the world needs, I think, instead of any types of copycats or like trying to create something that you think is maybe consumable or things like that. There's a realm for that, I think. But I really admire that you take your personal struggles and, you know, triumphs and those types of things and put them into the songs. I personally gravitate towards wanting to listen to artists that do that. So kudos for you, or to you, for that.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this song. So I already told you I love the harmonies on Silver Lining. Okay. You also have another single out called Indomitable Spirit. And I wanted to touch base on that because I love, the bass groove in that specifically, I really love. So tell me about the musicians that you had working with you on that track specifically.
Yeah, again, so the musician that was working with me, it was John Maddrey, my producer. He just really like, he elevated it in such a way, because I came in originally with a little bit of like the chords of what I wanted on the piano and how I wanted it to sound. And he just added on to that. He added on like different flavors and different flares and everything that I didn't even know that I wanted in the song, you know? Because when you're like thinking about it in your head, and like I'm just thinking about the lyrics and like maybe like the bass like melody and stuff like that, and like the bass sound of everything. I'm not thinking about like the different instrumentations of like the song and the intricacies in general, like as like just, you know, my personal thing. Like I'm still working on that for sure, but he really elevated this song in a way that I was like blown away by. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that like this is a real song. Like this was my first song that I was putting out, and it was like such a surreal moment for me. And it was such an exciting moment that I will like cherish for the rest of my life.
That's beautiful. It's really something when you're creating and then you get with somebody like a producer or a collaborator that reignites like the inspiration to do even more the next time. You're just like, oh wow, like that's really a capable situation, and it kind of makes you want to write more. So I know for me, after something happens like that, I'm ready to do my next thing, you know. And we talked about this a little bit, that you're working on a next piece called Vanity. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Vanity kind of came from a lot of insecurities that I had growing up about not feeling pretty enough and not feeling good enough, and just, you know, wanting so bad to just, you know, like fit in and be like other girls and, you know, like look like them and dress like them and everything. So I think, but this pressure that like, especially now in society where other girls like feel the need to kind of like, you know, even go as far as to like go under surgery even to like, you know, perfect what they think is perfecting an imperfection, when in reality they're just as beautiful on the outside as they are on the inside. And that's what this song is for me. It's like showcasing like, hey, like you are just as beautiful on the outside as you are on the inside. And if anybody tells you that, like that is just their own projection. So that's what this song means to me.
I cannot wait to hear it. Any clues on like how it's like styled? You know, like what type of genre are we looking at for this?
I would kind of like label it a little bit more in like the alternative realm.
Okay.
It's kind of a little bit more like pop rockish, I would say.
Like,
I
can't wait to hear. Yeah.
I want there to be a little bit of edge. I want people to I want to be like almost like wake up, you know, like that sort of feeling. Like, hey, like this is not good. Like you need to see that you are beautiful. And like if that means like literally like me like kind of almost like belting that in your face a little bit, like that's what I got to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, each song needs a different presentation. So I appreciate that you're thinking about the entire vibe before we even go into like the whole song. Mm-hmm. That's really great. I cannot wait to hear. So Annalise, we can follow you on Instagram and socials. And I actually wanted to ask you a bit, how are you kind of showing your music to the world? Like, what are some of the methods you're using as far as promotion goes?
Well, one of the craziest, actually for Silver Lining, John and I had decided for promotion that we were going to film different TikToks, and one of them was a SpongeBob AI cover. And basically what that entailed, I know it sounds really crazy and really weird, but like, hear me out. Basically what this was we decided, okay, like since SpongeBob AI covers are like going viral, like for different songs, like for example, Diamonds by Rihanna, like, and people using SpongeBob characters to sing that. I was like, why don't we just like imitate our voices to sound like the SpongeBob characters and just sing our own song like that? So John played Patrick in that moment and I was SpongeBob. And it was such a fun like day that we had of just recording like different promo ideas and stuff like that for our promotion for our song. So it's just, that was just such a fun, and that's what I want to continue to do, like with promotion and everything like that. I want to continue to, be funny and creative like that.
Yeah, that's the best way. I mean, to just have fun with it, I feel is the best rule of thumb. I mean, that's really great. SpongeBob AI, I'm totally a fan. I watch the videos. It cracks me up every time. So definitely will be checking that out as well. So, Annalise Pearl, thank you so much for coming onto the show today. I hope everybody checks out your singles that you got uploaded on Apple Music. Is there anything else that you want to tell our rBeatz listeners today, or any words of advice, wisdom, or inspiration?
Yeah, I would say just keep creating and keep being surrounded by other people who are just as passionate as you, because the moment that you start to feel inspired by others, that's the moment when your art really starts to shine. And you can follow me at Annalise Pearl on Instagram and TikTok, and I think even Twitter, as well.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks as always for tuning into rBeatz Radio. Search for more local music somewhere on rBeatz.com and follow our social media for highlighted artists as we travel with #LocalMusicSomewhere.